Once upon a time, deep within the untamed heart of Australia's outback, where the sun blazed with an unrelenting heat and the rugged terrain seemed to stretch endlessly, there lived a brave little wallaby named Joey. Joey was no ordinary wallaby. He possessed a spirit of adventure and a determination that set him apart from the rest of his kind. One scorching afternoon, as Joey grazed peacefully in a grassy clearing alongside his mother and other members of their mob, the tranquility of the landscape was shattered by a blood-curdling scream. A dingo, a cunning and ferocious wild dog, had made its presence known, and the wallabies felt the primal fear that such a predator inspired. The dingo was large, its fur the color of burnt umber, its eyes gleaming with predatory intent. Its lean, muscular body spoke of countless chases across the outback, its sharp teeth and claws hinting at the deadly grip it could exert on its prey. As the dingo closed in, panic surged through the wallabies. Mothers huddled their young close, trying to shield them with their own bodies. But the dingo, driven by hunger and instinct, was relentless. With a burst of speed, it lunged towards a young Joey that had strayed a little too far from the safety of the group. The adults watched in helpless horror as the Joey found itself face to face with the predator, its tiny heart pounding against its ribs like a drum. But just when all hope seemed lost, a strange thing happened. The young wallaby, summoning a strength that belied its small size, kicked out with powerful hind legs. It was a desperate gamble, a Hail Mary attempt to buy some precious seconds, and in that instant, it worked. The dingo, taken aback by the unexpected resistance, stumbled back, momentarily disoriented. It took a few seconds to recover, during which the young wallaby didn't wait to make its escape. It turned and fled, zigzagging through the bushes, its small size allowing it to navigate the undergrowth with ease. The dingo, enraged by the insult to its predatory prowess, gave chase. It crashed through the underbrush, its lithe body weaving effortlessly between the trees, its eyes never leaving the fleeing wallaby. The forest became a blur of brown and green as the chase reached a fever pitch, the dingo gaining on its prey with every stride. But then, as if by instinct, the young wallaby veered off course, leaping over logs and bounding across gullies. It led the dingo on a merry chase, keeping just out of its reach. The dingo, frustrated by its inability to corner the wallaby, let out a series of angry barks, its frustration echoing through the trees. But the wallaby, fueled by adrenaline and fear, kept going. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the land, the chase reached its climax. The dingo, tiring but still determined, pushed itself to the limit. It had the young wallaby cornered. There was nowhere left for it to run. With a final burst of speed, the dingo lunged, its jaws open, ready to deliver the fatal bite. But the young wallaby, summoning a last reserve of strength, sprang into the air. It twisted in midair, its powerful legs propelling it over the dingo's head. The dingo, taken by surprise, could only watch as the wallaby landed safely on the other side. The young wallaby didn't hesitate. It turned and ran, making a mad dash for cover. It disappeared into the undergrowth, leaving the dingo stranded and baffled. For a moment, the dingo stood there, stunned by what had just transpired. It looked around, confused, as if trying to make sense of the impossible feat it had just witnessed. But the young wallaby wasn't looking back. It had made it to a small grove of trees, and now it was safe. News of the daring escape spread quickly through the animal community. The young wallaby, once a symbol of vulnerability, was now a hero, a tiny warrior that had dared to defy the odds. The dingo, on the other hand, became a figure of ridicule. The other predators, impressed by the wallaby's bravery and agility, couldn't help but mock the dingo for its failure. And so, the dingo, wounded not only in body but also in pride, retreated to the shadows, nursing not only its physical wounds, but also its battered ego. As for the young wallaby, he continued to roam the outback, forever changed by his encounter with the dingo. His small frame now carried the confidence of a survivor, his eyes reflecting the wisdom that comes from facing one's fears. He never forgot the terror of that day, the feeling of the dingo's hot breath on his neck, the desperation of knowing that every second could be his last. But he also never forgot the strength he had found within himself, the courage that had allowed him to defy the odds and live to tell the tale. Years passed, seasons changed, and the outback remained as vast and unforgiving as ever. But for Joey, the young wallaby who leaped high to escape the clutches of a dingo, life held a new meaning. He was no longer just a small wallaby in a big, bad world. He was a symbol of hope, a living testament to the indomitable spirit that resides in the smallest of creatures. His story echoed across the red earth, carried by the wind that whispered through the eucalyptus trees. A reminder that no matter how daunting the challenge, no matter how fierce the predator, there is always a chance for survival, a reason to keep leaping. And so the legend of Joey, the wallaby who leaped high to escape the dingo's grasp, became a part of the outback lore, a story told and retold around campfires, each telling adding a new layer of admiration and respect for the courageous young wallaby who dared to dream big and leap even higher. From that day forward, whenever the young wallabies felt threatened by the dingoes that lurked in the shadows, they would look to the story of Joey as a beacon of hope. They would remember how he had faced the jaws of danger and emerged victorious, leaping to freedom when all hope seemed lost. In the harsh, unforgiving landscape of the outback, where survival often hangs in the balance, the story of Joey served as a guiding light, reminding them that even in the darkest moments, there is always a chance for a comeback, a reason to leap high and fly. So if you ever find yourself in the heart of the Australian outback, beneath the endless expanse of sky, remember the story of Joey the wallaby, who leaped high to escape the dingo's claws. Let his tale inspire you to face your fears, to reach for the impossible, and to never, ever give up. Because sometimes all it takes is one leap, one moment of courage to change everything.